Vision. You're watching Amanda Lee take her final warm-up pitch and a throwdown by the catcher Sarah Brown, and two good teams today. Good athletes, good coaches on both sides. As Poultney in their blue and yellow uniforms taking on Mill River in their red, white, and blue on Seniors Day ceremony before the start of the ballgame to honor the seniors. Rainey Paquette up. And you can see the umpire not quite settled in. And calling the balls and strikes will be Carlton Laird. Actually, what he's doing is getting some extra balls there to put in his pouch. So they keep falling them off. You have a ball to give to the pitcher. Very important game for both teams. And that will be a bunt attempt and foul for a strike. Yeah, and today, everybody's very aware of what went on in Missouri with the tornadoes. This game being played under a tornado watch throughout the state of Vermont, so something being monitored. That's a swing and a miss, strike two. So Lee will face Paquette, Horn, and Boguski, the first three here up for Poultney. Getting the season winding down, and these geographical rivals and also league rivals with a big important ball game, and they went to high and outside, and Paquette would not chase it. Paquette, an outstanding athlete her whole career. Soccer, basketball, softball at Poultney. And that's a lot I can say about a lot of players on both sides about that. Ooh, if anything, maybe a tad bit outside, but it was a teaser of a pitch and a hard one to take with two strikes. But that'll even the count on at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Just underway, scheduled for 7. Hopefully we won't have to worry about any tornado anytime here in Vermont. So after being down 0-2, Paquette has worked it all the way back to a full count now. I'll set that Mill River defense for you. I'll start right there with the Redenis and the throw. Got her. I'd wait for the punch out. So a great throw by Redenis, who, as I've said all year long, has moved from outfield to third base seamlessly. Makes a great play to get the speedy Paquette. Now Rachel Horn up, and she'll be playing second base defensively for Poultney, the Blue Devils, when they get up. But so obviously Redenis is the third baseman. There's the ball blowing inside. Maneri is your shortstop. Casey Camo starting at second, and Courtney Lee, the starter at first. Sarah Brown is your catcher. Amanda Lee is your pitcher. The center fielder is Kyle Weatherhog. Madison Cornell is the right fielder, and the left fielder is Casey Dambrackus. That's the defense for Mill River. And that pitch had a lot of pop on it, but it was out of the strike zone for a 2-ball, no strike count. And there's a decent crowd on hand as that'll work, I believe, to a 3-ball, no strike count now. Well, Poultney, when I go to Poultney, it takes me, and I live in the center of Rutland, just about 27 to 28 minutes. And there's a strike called that make it a 3-1 count. Taking all the way was Horn, and then, like I said, Boguski on deck. So yeah, I mean, it's not only is it an important game for both these teams as far as getting better playoff seedings, and it'll be a full count now as that one right down the pipe. But as far as fans and having to travel and the price of gas, and this is good because this is, like I said, it's a short ride. Everybody should have a decent night tonight. Oh, came all the way back from 3 balls, no strikes. Got the strikeout swinging, so Horn will go down, and Boguski up now with Laura Lyle batting in the cleanup spot on deck. Now the way it unfolds to me, and of course nothing's final until season's over and the pairings have been done and the seedings have been announced, but I don't see how Mill River can I get at least one, if not more, home playoff games. That's a foul ball down the third baseline into the dugout for a strike. So I guess what I'm getting at is if Mill River, their home playoff games, as long as weather allows me to, I'll bring you their playoff games on Munger Vision. So Boguski with an 0-1 count watches that one come in low and inside, and a 1-1 count. Of course, Lee in her 3rd complete year of being the varsity pitcher. She is a senior. And that's going to be down Redenis, her throw to first, and that's the inning, a 1-2-3 inning. Good defensive inning, good pitch inning for Mill River. Now they'll have to face Emma Lamberton and the Poultney Blue Devils in the field. Lamberton, very good pitcher, very experienced pitcher. We'll start off the count with a high strike on the rise by Maneri. Michaela Maneri is the batter right now. And I'll go through the middle. I had to watch the center fielder because I already moved once to get out of her way. And that's pitch is a ball. So it's going to be Mikhail Maneri, Casey Dambracos, Amanda Lee, and Maddie Cornell batting in that cleanup spot. Laura Lyle is the catcher, so it's Lamberton and Lyle, the battery. That was a change-up to miss. And we'll go to Nicole Boguski, who's playing third base. Rainey Paquette's at short. Rachel Horn is at second, and Margaret Lyle's over at first. And Grenier is the center fielder. Allie Jones is in left field, and Kelsey Brown, the right fielder. That's it for the Blue Devils, obviously in the blue uniforms. Nice snag behind the plate by Lyle, and that pitch a ball. Well, you know, it's easy to talk about Mill River because I followed their season, videotaped it. And there's a walk to the leadoff batter, Maneri. But they opened here at home against West Rutland, who isn't a bad team at all. They're a very young team. And they have a freshman starter pitcher. But it took Mill River till the bottom of the seventh to come back to win their season opener 6-5 against West Rutland. And then, I don't want to say struggled, but they were having a problem mounting continuous offense, hitting the ball. That's going to be ball two, and a nice stop by Lyle behind the plate. And yeah, they award second base to Maneri, and I missed the call, but I was looking down at my books. But in any event, Maneri ends up at second base as Casey Dambracos at the plate. Mill River, the runner in scoring position. But it was just about in that fifth game of the season, all of a sudden, the defense really was playing well. Amanda Lee, the pitcher, really started to find her consistency. And the bats came to life, and the offense started to pound the ball. And I did the weak base softball here when Mill River hosted a very powerful Windsor team and won against a very good pitcher, Caitlin Curtis. That's another walk. So Dambracos will walk. Back-to-back walks, and Lee now with runners at first and second. Amanda Lee at the plate for Mill River. And after they defeated Windsor that same week, they took on Leland and Gray. And Nicole Sherman, another outstanding pitcher, and they beat up on her. They won that game. And since then, they have beaten, they've put, I think it was a 20 spot on Leland and Gray. And what I thought was an 18-hit attack down on Leland and Gray. So I guess what I'm trying to say is Mill River's started slow, finishing strong, hit their stride, going right into the playoffs like you want to. And I believe it was a one-run game the first time Poultney played Mill River. I believe it was, I want to say 6-5, but I could be very wrong. That's going to be fouled back for a strike on the pitch on the outside corner, made her reach for it, and fouled it back out of play. I also believe it was a game that Mill River didn't take the lead until very late in that ball game. So, but this could be a whole different outcome today because I think Mill River is one of the hot teams. A nice stop over at first. And what smartly happened there was Maneri on the throw to first took third base. That's excellent base running. So now with first and third, gives you the opportunity to get a lot of strategy. You can send a runner on the steal from first to second, try to draw the throw. It's irrelevant, and it's going to be back-to-back-to-back walks. So 3 walks to start the ball game off, and now one of those players that early on didn't see a lot of playing time, but man, has hit the ball well, has fielded well, and has earned herself a starting spot on a consistent basis here is Cornell. Base is juiced, and Mill River looking for a big inning, and that's going to be to Paquette. There's one. And safe at first, a run does score, and I want to just double check how many came in. So they almost turned the double play. So Maneri does come in to score. Dambracos ends up at third. Lee is forced out 6-4, and Cornell reaches on the fielder's choice. So Hannon up now. Now here's another interesting story. Hannon only her 1.5 years of organized softball. There's this uncontested steal of second as Cornell will go down without a throw. Of course, Hannon known for her play during the soccer season at the mostly the sweeper position, but making a major impact here got a starting position as the DP. Has had a game-winning hit, has hit the ball solid all season. And boy, just makes you wonder if she started softball, you know, at the instructional league, you know, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, man. So that was fouled off for a strike, and that's just ripped foul down the third, just outside the line, down the line, third base side. So there's 2 on, 1 down, 1 run in, bottom of the first. Kyle Weatherhog on deck for Mill River, and I'll tell you what, that Poultney outfield playing about as deep as they can without actually touching the fence. Of course, the further back you go, the bigger the gaps become in the outfield. You know, and I did the game that Hannon had the game-winning hit. I think it was against Leland Gray. And one of the professional sports icons said in his column in the free paper, she had a walk-off homer. That's very incorrect. There were 2 runners on in front of her, and she had a single to left center field that drove in the winning run. She didn't have a walk-off homer. Of course, it's hard to report correctly when you're not at the games. There's the walk. She was 1 pitch ahead of herself. So now the base is loaded again, and that's the 4th walk by Lamberton, which is very uncharacteristic of her. Now Weatherhog up, and of course Coach Lee doing his job down there at third base, reminding them they've got to, the runners, they've got to go on anything hit on the ground and be aware of fly balls and tagging up. And Weatherhog, in her first year of varsity ball, has just been a tremendous defensive asset in center field. Can she track down the ball in center field? Man, and a good arm. That's going to be home for the force out, and I believe she dropped it. They're looking for, no, they're going to say she held on to it. Yeah, she dropped the ball. He was shielded from that play, and she reached out and picked the ball up so he could come around and look and see it. But a break there for Poultney as they'll call Dan Brackus out. Cornell will go to third, Hannon to second, and on the fielder's choice, Weatherhog will go to first. Courtney Lee up, a freshman, getting the start in the varsity ball at first base, really has solidified that infield. So I'll tell you what, if Lamberton can get out of this inning, it's a foul ball, with only the 1 run scoring after issuing 4 walks. That could be a tremendous momentum builder for the Poultney Blue Devils. So Courtney Lee, the younger of the 2 Lee sisters, with a good eye right there. We'll watch that pitch come in for a ball. So you look out there at the speed on the bases, and I'm nodding my head. Yeah, there is a lot of speed out there on the bases from Mill River. It's off the fist and fouled for a strike. Oh yeah, I mean, it's a tornado warning, but the winds have always been strong this spring, especially, well, I think a little bit stronger here than at West Rutland's field, the way the layout is with the more open fields around you here. But it is a hitter's wind, breeze, whatever you want to call it. It's from home plate to right center field, and it's a pretty strong, consistent, stiff wind. Taryn Dennis on deck. Oh, that's going to do some damage. That's going to do some damage. Another run coming, 3 runs total, and Lee's going to stop at second base as they toss the ball around, and they'll pick it up, and a big 2-out hit as Cornell came in to score. I'm just searching. Hannon came in to score. Weatherhog ends up at third, and Lee has herself a double and 2 RBIs. Now Redennis up. So a 3-0 Mill River lead in the bottom of the first. Scheduled for 7. I'll explain the mercy rule, even though I don't think it'll come into play here, but you never know. You have to lead by at least. Oh, they're going to come home on the throw, and she's going to be safe, yeah. So a wild pitch, and Lamberton's been missing high and outside like that very consistently here. Lee will take third. Weatherby will score on the wild pitch. If you're ahead by 15 runs or more, and the team that is trailing has had 5 full innings of coming to the plate, That's the end of the game. Oh, change up. Best pitch she's thrown here in this first inning. And the sun plays peekaboo today. Goes from a pretty cloudy situation to a very bright, sunny situation. It's a very hot, humid day. Feels more like June than anything. Or July, I mean. Oh, great pitch. Went from the change up to that rise ball in the outside corner, and Dennis just whiffing at it. And Casey Camo on deck. Mill River has sent 8 batters to the plate in his first inning and has scored 4 runs. There have been 4 walks issued by Lamberton. A wild pitch has allowed a run to come in, and then Courtney Lee with the 2 RBI double. For Dennis, a lot of strength. Will pop it up on the infield. Horn fighting the wind will make the grab, and we'll have a 4-0 Mill River lead going into the second inning of play on Munger Vision. Amanda Lee with a strikeout in that first inning and a couple ground outs to third base. Will just miss a little bit outside. This is Laura Lyle. She'll be followed by the pitcher Emma Lamberton, and then Allie Jones, who's a very good athlete, coming up to bat in that third spot here. And it's Kyle Weatherhog that's in the foreground. Oh, that was a tremendous pitch. Did you see the movement on that pitch? Yeah, and I'll move in just a second. It's an issue that I won't have to contend with very much longer. And that is having to shoot softball from a center field position with no elevation, no staging or scaffolding or a platform to shoot from, and have to dance with the center fielder to get by. I mean, it's not their fault, the center fielder's fault, no. That one was definitely a ball. There was no doubt about it. As Brown, the catcher, hustled after that pitch. It got a wild pitch because that's still a live ball. Lyle can, if she chooses to, can just keep on running. Now Lamberton up. That's the first Poultney Blue Devil to reach base. Again, Poultney, very good club. They're down by 4, and right now they just kind of, I'm not making an excuse for them, but I thought they got here rather late. I don't have I think it was 4:11 or 4:13 for a 4:30 start. And yeah, she'll have the bag standing up on a wild pitch, as Lyle will head down to second base, putting herself in scoring position, and Lamberton, Jones, and then Margaret Lyle. Oh, great pitch. Great location. Tied her up down inside and had her chopping at it on the drop ball. Oh, just another good-looking pitch. Almost appeared that Lamberton might have been fooled. Now going to bring Dennis in. Oh gosh, 7, 8 feet in off the bag at third. But they play tight like that in softball anyways, and that's going to be off the fist and foul, a little nubber. And we'll stay with 2 strikes in the count. That Mill River defense shifting all over the place here. Again, if you're just turning it on, trying to get the game in, and couldn't get her to chase that one. Brought a little bit out of the strike zone. That's pitcher's thinking right there. It's a good job by both. Lamberton not going after that pitch, a little bit about the strike zone, and a good job by Lee knowing that she didn't need to throw a meatball. Trying to get her to chase one out of the strike zone. That's the short Maneri, who's been just awesome there again with the play, and there's the 6-3 ground out for the first out of the inning. Now Allie Jones up for the first time, and of course she was part of that championship basketball team for Poultney. I think there's 4 or 5 young ladies on this Poultney roster that were part of the championship basketball team. Oh, great pitch. So Lee will, so far in this ball game, even though we're only in the second inning, has been pitching from ahead in the count. She does have the 1 walk and the 1 strikeout. At some point, nice job by Brown, the catcher, making herself a wall back there and not letting that pitch get by her so the runner can advance to third. Yeah, and I don't want to jinx Lee, the pitcher, but she does have that taboo, foul ball for strike 2, where she will be cruising along and all of a sudden have that one bumpy inning where she kind of loses her control. And she has gotten better at it since her sophomore year, much better. Whatever the sign was, because I missed it, she shook it off twice. And that'll be fouled down the third baseline. Now, Coach Mike Lee makes the calls from the dugout on the pitches. And that will be fouled down the third baseline. So a good job here by Allie Jones to foul off what would be strike 3, I would assume, by their location. Again, trying to get this game in, not that there's a tornado watch till 8. Oh, great pitch. Oh, I don't know what that thing was, man, but that had some nasty movement. That's out number 2. And now Margaret Lyle up the first baseman. Now, we don't want a tornado at all anywhere in the United States, but definitely here. But I know there's supposed to be some strong thunder showers coming in anytime after 2 o'clock. So since this is almost 5 o'clock, so it could happen at any time. So all we're trying to do on Munger Vision is get through the last regular season game. Great pop on the ball, definitely out of the strike zone. But again, credit to Lyle for not chasing that rise ball. Just about let her high on her. And like I said, weather permitting, I'll bring you the Mill River playoff games. All great pitch, strike 2. Then the only thing I have left in my bag of commitments is to do the Crawley Road Race and the wrap-up show for it. That's to Lee. It'll go off from her arm, and I think they're going to be safe. They'll throw hard and throw it away. Yeah, the run will score, and that should be a dead ball, and yeah, she'll be awarded second base. So on the throwing error, Lyle will end up at second. Laura Lyle will score. Margaret Lyle will end up at second, and Kelsey Brown up now. So Poultney breaking through on a miscue. They'll have a 4-1 deficit they're looking at as they're at the number 8 spot in the order. So that walk that led this inning off by Lee scores on the error by Lee. Now that's the kind of thing where Lee is a very fiery competitor, very wears her emotions on her sleeve, and something like that, which could destroy a lot of pitchers, will most of the time fire her up to be even mad at herself and throw better and stronger and more focused and harder. Usually, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here. So with 2 down, Poultney will score in the bottom of the second, 4-1. Mill River with the lead. At number 14, it's Kyle Weatherhog in the 4th shot. Off the fist and fouled back over the backstop out of play. As I had mentioned previously, Michaela Lewis is on deck. This is Kelsey Brown at the plate. But yeah, after changeup, chased it, foul. Since starting videotaping in 1995, November of 95, and having a talk show, go over 400 episodes and literally thousands of guests on. Grand strike 3. That's the inning, but the Blue Devils do get 1 run. 4-1 Mill River lead going into the bottom of the second. Oh, and then the top of the order due up, which would be Michaela Maneri and Casey Dambracus. Lamberton's biggest enemy in that first inning of work was her lack of control. She's looking to bounce back. Like I said, the Poultney squad had approximately 20 minutes to warm up by the time they got here. That might not have been sufficient for them. I'm not saying that's the reason. That's going to be through the hole at short, and there's a base hit for Mill River. Jones will quickly get the ball back into play. Now, Camo's had some big hits this season for Mill River, and she's just, again, like Alvin, hitting her stride at the right time. And now Maneri up. She walked and scored back in the first. She also had a stolen base back in the first. And one thing Mill River hasn't been shy about this year is when they get runners on base, there's the catch for the out. Nice job over there at first base by Margaret Lyle. Catching it in foul territory, and the runner unable to advance on that. Dan Brackus up now. Yeah, she was part of a force out. So the senior, Dan Brackus. Right back to Lamberton. She's got time, and she'll throw to first and get the out. And that's what you want to do. Yeah, Lamberton's a very experienced pitcher. Don't panic. Make sure you get the shore out at first, and that's what she did. There's a runner at second, but she can take care of everything herself right here if she can get the third out at the plate. And Amanda Lee, who walked and hit into the force out. So again, Lamberton looking to have a much easier, shorter inning to work here in the second. 4-1 Mill River. And that one caught the plate, but low, below the knee, and called a ball. Again, the breeze blowing from home plate out to right center field. I wouldn't be surprised. And plus the fact they've moved the fences into 200 feet this year at Mill River. I wouldn't be surprised at all. With both these teams, if somebody will take it out of the yard, hit a home run over the fence. Nice scoop behind the plate by Laura Lyle, the catcher. And again, with that type of effort, she kept the runner down at second base. Lamberton with her 5th walk of the ball game. We'll have to face Cornell. Cornell reached on a fielder's choice. It did drive in. She did score a run off it. Well, Cornell with a shot up the middle, and you can see Grenier come in, will bobble the ball, and they're going to send her home, and the throw will be cut off, and it's going to be another run for Mill River as a clutch hit by Cornell. Like I said, she's really come on since the midway point of the season. Now Amber Hannon up, she has walked and scored. And yeah, they're going to visit to the circle to talk to Lamberton. Now, I'm not sure if maybe she's under the weather or has an injury, or it's just a strategy. Talk about pitch selection maybe, or whatever, but it's coming early for a pitcher of her quality and her experience. They're talking to her here in the second. So it goes 5-1 Mill River. I already mentioned Hannon, and then Weatherhog is due up next. But Lamberton looking all around. I can't believe they would take her out of the game, but like I said, I don't know if she has a physical ailment or not. But I started to say before that when I don't believe West Rutland's going to have a home playoff game for softball. So what I'm looking at is my volunteer career and coverage will come to an end when Mill River is eliminated, as Lee will go to third base. Many reasons that I'm going to stop videotaping and interviewing and doing games and everything. Most of it, it's emotional reasons, it's political reasons, it's logical reasons. I mean, it's a whole mix of bag tricks. But I thought about doing a big rant, but I would come out looking like a bad person. Oh, what a shot to short, deep in the hole is Paquette, the long throw, and got her. What a stretch over there at first by Margaret Lyle. Just one run that time, 5-1. Mill River the lead going into the third on Munger Vision. Umpires are doing here between the innings. They're really trying to expedite the downtime to make the game move along and get it done as soon as possible to, avoid the possibility of a horrendous weather moving in or something. So like right there, it just didn't seem like the normal amount of warm-up pitches was boom, 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 go, let's come on, let's get in the field and go. They show bunt and a strike called. Not that she committed with the bat. It's just Lewis, Michaela Lewis. It's just that pitch was a strike. Oh, great pitch. Another strikeout for Lee, as she now has 4 in the ball game. Top of the order in Rainey Paquette. She grounded out to Redenis at third base back in the first inning. Lee had a 1-2-3 first inning. And again, she has a lot of velocity on her pitches. There's a good catcher back there in Brown. But in case, for whatever reason, say if they do have a playoff game, but they play it in the rain and I can't do it because of coverage for my electronic equipment, I would like to thank the Mill River community for all these years of allowing me to cover your sports here, and that's back to Lee. The first and the out, so Lee to Lee, as that's Courtney Lee over there first base. So you have 2 down now as Podcat will ground out Rachel Hornup. She was the first strikeout victim of the afternoon by Lee. Base is clean, 2 down. But it's amazing after doing this for almost 16 years. I mean sports, I don't mean just, I have not done Mill River for 16 years. I jumped on them later in life, their sports. Well, actually one of the very first games I ever covered was Mill River girls basketball game. Rutland came. Dick Wright was still coaching Rutland. That's how long ago it was. I did the JV and varsity game. And Ernie Sewell was my cameraman then. I've had Brian Mayhew, Ernie Sewell, John Mayhew, Matthew Munger, and for the last several years, myself. Well, actually, it's got to be going on, jeez. My son will be 29 shortly. He graduated at, I believe, 18. So he's been out of school 11 years, and he didn't shoot my camera for me his senior year. So I've been running the camera and doing the talk and covering games for at least 12 years of my many years. Yeah, in 95 I got to get started. And that's going to be back to Lee. She'll stab it. She's very good at fielding her position. Throw to first, and nice job by her sister going up to get that. Well, that'll end the threat, and that'll end the inning. So we'll go to the bottom of the third. 5-1, the Minutemen would lead on Munger Vision. So Kyle Weatherhog going to get things underway. Courtney Lee and then Taryn Redenis due up. So I guess all I've been trying to do is that pitch will be a strike from Lamberton, who settled down a little bit better in that second inning. I got a feeling that as the game goes along, she's going to get stronger. More into the rhythm, more into the groove. She's just too good a pitcher and too smart a young lady not to. That's going to be down to second, the first, and that's going to be a 4-3 ground out as it goes from Horn to Margaret Lyle. So the leadoff batter eliminated here in the third inning. Courtney Lee had a double that scored 2 runs, drove in 2 runs for Mill River, her first time up. But no, I'd like to thank the many parents for the decades that allowed me to interview their sons and daughters here at Mill River, and the coaches who set in and let me interview them. The athletic director, Rob Black. I'm an easy person not to like. I can get under your skin. And I actually understand that from people when they don't get along with me, that it's 99% my fault. The 1% being that's not my fault was the athletic director by that big high school up by the dump. But I thank Rob for all his patience with me and little tirades I would have. That's up and on the infield, called for by Paquette, and she will make the grab. Now this is more of a Poultney, Emma Lamberton type inning here. With 2 down, nobody on. Not a lot of pitches thrown either. Oh God, I've covered boys soccer, girls soccer. Did their baseball team on the road. It was hard logistically here to cover their baseball team here, but when they were at schools like MS Chase Field where I could shoot them, I made sure I could get down and do their games. Like I said, girls and boys basketball, the soccer. Did some football, yeah, I did some football. That's a tough sport politically to get into. That's going to be a little flare, and that's going to drop in. So with 2 down, there will be a base hit by Redenis. No, and I think the only thing I can say for myself is whether you believe it or not, or didn't sound it or did sound it, or the camera work looked it or didn't look it, every game, no matter what gender or what sport or what age level, I really was trying my best. And it's amazing being a volunteer of the criticism you receive and the praise. There's a bunt and Boguski will let it go foul. And the other thing you should really believe is I put a lot of effort into doing this gig. As Camo up with 2 down and a runner at first, I actually went into debt to buy used cameras, used microphones. Oh, that's it. Nice pitch. Strikeout will end the inning. We'll go to the 4th, 5-1 Mill River. Guski up. She grounded out to Redenis at third base, then Laura Lyle and Emma Lamberton. It was Laura Lyle who's batting second that scored Poultney's only run so far in the ball game. As you can see Lee doing a little landscaping. No, you know, I'm getting back to my rant. Actually, not rant, but nobody made me go out and buy my own blank tapes and my own equipment, and there was some political motivation behind it. Some sour grape stuff going on my part. I served on the board of directors 2 full terms at PEGTV, and I learned it's a foul ball, high chopper down third baseline, foul. And I learned what I was raised and taught and believing as an adult. The world, whether it's senators or congressmen or aldermen or board of directors, is an elitist group that usually are really not in touch with anything they're representing. And if you're actually a blue-collar, meat and potato, get dirt on your hands, didn't have an opportunity to go beyond high school, didn't get a lot of support from anything, then you're really not going to make an impact or be heard, good or bad ideas or not. There are many times I think I wasted 2 full terms being on the board of directors. There's a strike. I actually won't get credit. I was on the standard and practices committee, and I was the squeaky wheel, but I got some language in there in the guidelines that should be a lot more of what I wanted in there. I also was on the building search committee and was a big proponent. Oh, Redenis with a great play. Double clutches throws, got her. What a great play by Redenis. That's just, you know, considering she was an outfielder until this year, shows you just how great an athlete she is. Awesome play to get Boguski. Lyle up now. Nope, they were talking about on those committees, people would just kind of blow me off anyways with their $300 shoes and their fancy shirts and their jobs with diplomas from colleges and their little cliques they hung out with. And I'll never get any credit for it, but I met with Earl Laviana and Joe G and Cola for every meeting pertaining to that new building that Channel 15 rents, leases. Pop up, and is it, I'm waiting for somebody to tell me if that's fair or foul. Now a lot of that too was, and I'm not defending Brown, the catcher. She's looking right into a brilliant sun. The wind raised the devil with it. She had to locate it. And the last thing, I heard nobody talking. I didn't hear any communications to them, which you got to talk to the catcher. As Laura Lyle set. There's Redenis with an easier play, but she'll get the same results on that 5-3 ground out by Redenis. Sharp over there at the corner. I saw they used to, and I think they still do, but I was on the board of directors. I sat on the committee that helped select the recipient of the Joe Corcel Scholarship, and pretty much I wasted my time being here because it was a done deal, determined, and that's up the middle. And oh, look at Maneri, and no, she'll be safe. I'll tell you what range by Maneri, and a nice job by Courtney Lee to go up and get that so the ball wouldn't go out of play. We'll give her an infield hit to Emma Lamberton. Allie Jones up. I don't think to this day that professional radio, professional newspaper, paid people should be using public access, skirting the guidelines of commercialism to gain more exposure, more of an audience, and actually promise their advertisers they could get them better coverage, more coverage on PEGTV. I know what went on behind the scenes there, and I think that's a foul ball. I think that's an issue that really soured on me there, because I would hammer on that commercial content with radio being on. I hammer on it. I know it's deaf ears, so I don't waste my energy. But just the fact when I don't know the call numbers because I don't listen to the internet sports. But just the fact that they let them bring you to Castleton State sports like hockey and stuff, and they say in the little corner they put the graphic of the internet company. That's their website. You go on the website, it's all commercialism. Out! Great throw! Great tag! Maneri with the tag, and the runner seems to be injured. That's Lamberton not getting up, but she'll be out stealing the base, and hopefully she will be okay as they'll come out to check on her. And boy, it was a solid body. It was Maneri she ran into. It was a tremendous throw by Sarah Brown that took Maneri right into the runner. And Lamberton didn't give an inch. She went in hard, and man, oh man, this would be a huge blow to Poultney. Not only their star pitcher, but one of their leaders on the team. And you know what? Because I got caught up patting myself on the back so much. That's not Lamberton. Lamberton had a courtesy runner come in. That's Ginger Vaughn, and I hope she's okay, because she's important. Everybody's important to the team. She's walking off on her own power. That's good. Maybe it's just going to be a scrape or a bruise, or maybe got the wind knocked out of her, but I'm no doctor. But you can look at my W-2 forms. You can tell I was no doctor. But she's walking, and she's going to be okay. The order, it's going to be Maneri, Dambrakis, and Lee. Lamberton striking out Camo to end the third inning. That was her first strikeout of the ball game. That's very unlike her. That first inning, she just didn't seem ready, loose, physically loose. She had the 4 walks. And now last inning, and that pitch there, now she's looking like herself. That's a strike on the outside corner to Maneri. Maneri walked and scored in the first and popped up to first base in foul territory, I believe. A lot of Mill River memories as far as from covering their different sports, but just one young man that was just so much fun to get to know and talk to and do interviews and chat with him before the games and after the games was Kyle Fredette, just a great basketball player. And he had an excellent junior year, but his senior year, I mean, he attacked that with a passion and dedication like it was his final year of high school basketball, which it was. And he also attacked it like his team mates and his coaches had a chance to win the state championship. That's back to Lamberton. She'll pick it up, throw to first, get it. 1 down as that, again, Lamberton settling down nicely. It's only 5-1, I mean, so don't count, this game isn't over. But Kyle Fredette, I believe, yeah, it was, they were playing Poultney. I wanted to say Springfield, but it was Poultney. Opening night, home opener. And Kyle Fredette, in his senior year, opening night, scored his team's first 21 points. At one point, I believe it was 19-0. And it wasn't like Poultney was bad. It was just how, first of all, he was totally healthy at that point in the season. He had dunks, he had 3-point shots, he had inside shot. I mean, and other people had shot, but missed the basket for Miller. He had the first 21 points for his team. That's going to be played, and boy, nobody's calling for it, and almost a disaster, but it's picked up where they're by. Rachel Horn, was that Horn? No, that was the first baseman. That was Margaret Lyle. So 2 down for Amanda Lee. She's walked twice, and I'll have to move the camera here in a second. Oh, there she goes. She just slides over there, Grenier will. Of course, you think back to all those great playoff wins in soccer under Kevin Ratty, where they would win it in overtime or come from behind in the last seconds to win. Those are great memories. A lot of great basketball memories. But that game would Kyle. There's the out, and again, Poultney, they got off the bus, but they're ready now, and they're down 5-1 as we go into the 5th inning on Munger Vision. Jones in the 5th. We'll look at ball 1. And I just want to make it clear that I enjoyed every school that I covered. I just happen to be staying here at Mill River today, and I have schools that I just won't be making rounds to again. Oh, that's a shot. Caught by Dambracus. But I tell you what, they got a hold of that one. It was kind of a change up the laid flat, but Jones will line out to Dambracus, and now Margaret Lyle up. She reached on a throwing error by Amanda Lee. So in the 5th, 5-1 Mill River. If it holds up the way it is right now, this game, you really have to go back to that first inning and the 4 walks by Lamberton. That, you know, could have been the whole difference in the ball game. Which, just like I said, they got here, it seemed late to me. They may not have had enough time to prepare. I have no idea why the bus got here 20 minutes before the game. Maybe it was by design. I don't know. That's going to be to Courtney Lee, and she'll step on the bag, and she will get the put out. No assist there. She takes care of business herself. Kelsey Brown up. She struck out looking at strike 3. 4 strikeouts so far unofficially in the ball game for Amanda Lee. Yeah, she's been smooth all day. Her defense has been just awesome behind her today. At MSJ, I liked working with Coach Brian Grady and Coach Leon Wood, Jeff Johnson. Oh, like Andrew Jetner. And she couldn't hold up. She'll commit, and there'll be a swinging strike. Well, a check swing strike. I had a lot of head shake or head scratching moments with their athletic director over there that I didn't understand. If you were getting paid to be there and had, basically you're making money off amateur high school athletes if you're doing it professionally. Oh, beautiful strike 3 looking, and that's the inning, and Mill River will come up in the bottom of the 5th with that 5-1 lead on Munger Vision. The late innings, and I'll tell you what, Lamberton, her job is to keep it at a 5-1 deficit. In the last 2 innings especially, but it started toward the end of the 2nd. She's found herself now. She's got her control. She's got her pitches going. She faced 4 batters in the 3rd, had a 1-2-3 4th, and we'll be looking at Cornell, Hannon, and Weatherhog here. Here in the bottom of the 5th, and there's a strike called. Cornell, well, she's been Cornell today. She's been on base twice. She scored a run, driven in a run. She's got a single. And that came up and got the catcher underneath the throat guard, and well, nobody checking on her. She kind of delayed. I thought maybe it might have jolted her, knocked her wind out of her, but nobody said a word. That's going to be up the middle, off from Lamberton. She's got time and safe. Yeah. By the time she chased it down with the speed of Cornell, that was almost going to be an impossible play. So Cornell will get an infield single unofficially in my book. And Amber Hannon up. Hannon's walked and scored in the 1st and grounded out to the shortstop, Rainey Paquette. Yeah, so 4 of the 5 runs coming in the 1st. Actually, all 5 runs coming in the first 2 innings from Mill River. This could be a double play. There's 1, and that's it. Yeah. It was a very low throw, and a nice job just to handle it by Horn. So they get the force out on the lead runner. Fielder's choice for Hannon, and now Weatherhog up. Weatherhog's reached on a fielder's choice and scored back in the 1st, and then grounded out 4-3. Yeah, she attempted the bunt, and You can see that Hannon will be safe. The throw was low and hit Hannon, and she'll have a stolen base. What a weapon she's been this year for Coach Mike Lee. There's the bunt attempt, and I think it stayed in. I think it stayed fair. What a beautiful bunt by Weatherhog, directionally bunting it, dragging it down the line. Runners at the corners on that beautiful bunt. Now Courtney Lee up. She's got 2 RBIs with a double today. Oh, and you know, at MSA I forgot to mention. Oh, that's going to be a little blooper, and they'll get the. Now there's the force out. And they're going to run the runner back to third, and actually right off the fist and stayed on the infield. So 2 down. That was a big out right there. Now Redena's up. She singled her last time up. Yeah, Coach House, when she did women's soccer, boys soccer down at MSA, was very nice to work with. But I guess what I started to say, for some reason I never fit into their plans there when I asked for something very simple. I was told so many fables and myths and just flat out take it or leave it. And I actually just left it. I got sick of it. It wasn't the quality of play dropped off as much as stupid me took it. I used to do graduation, music concerts for them, drama theater, videotape, interviewed everybody I could for them, getting promotions, all kinds of games, talked to their coaches. You know, eventually you just get sick of being crapped on. But if you're making money off those amateur high school students, getting paid to go in there and broadcast your game on radio or the internet, by God, they kissed your butt. I like, it's going to be out of the reach now to play this. She'll go back. I did Rutland sports for 11 years. And got along with every coach. But I'll tell you quite truthfully, other than Lori McClellan, every other coach except Lori, when I was banned by their athletic director to cover any more sports up there, the only person that stuck up for me, and nice grab in center field, that'll retire the side, and that will keep it at a 5-1 Mill River lead, and a much needed big play on the center fielder for Poultney, as that's Grenier making the catch. I talked to some of those coaches from Rutland now because they have different capacities besides coaching. Some of them umpire basketball or soccer or whatever. And I'm civilized, but I don't forget how they all bailed out and threw me under the bus and nobody backed me up and pretty much abandoned me. That leaves an awful bitter taste in your mouth. Every time I went to Proctor, no matter what the sport, I was treated very, very well by Arlen Bloodworth. And then later on, Jake Eaton. Wave at the pitch and the miss by Lewis. Lewis 0 for 1 today. It's only her second time up. West Rutland treated me very well. It was baffling when Phil Bartlett was the head coach here at the boys basketball teams. He had those phenomenally great teams, and they had those incredible rivalries with quality Proctor teams. That's going to come back to Lee, and again, she's going to make it look easy. Got the out, Lee to Lee for the first out. But he wouldn't allow me, it was me. He wouldn't allow me to cover those games. They were taped, but not by me. And I took that very personal. And then it was ironic that he was hired to coach at CSJ, and by his third year there, we had a mutual respect for each other. I think only because he couldn't get the exposure bunt attempt, strike, as they'll wave at that rise ball. I mean, there were other people, the Internet Sports, that said they'd come in and do 2 or 3 games, where I did every home game, and did 2 or 3 interview shows with his players, plugged his games on other games I was doing, and I think he kind of realized that as big a pain in the ass as I was still the best coverage he had, best option. Mark Benetatis at CSJ was fine to work with. Dr. Rob Larson, George Revis when he was athletic there. Ray Fish was excellent to work with. Even John D'Alessandro, when he coached the men's team there, even though he was kind of Weasley in his coaching recruitments and stuff, he treated me fine. Oh, that's a shot to Cornell. She'll make the grab, and I'll tell you, Mill River, they got it going here late in the season. They're hitting, they're running the bases well, they're pitching, they're playing defense. His Paquette will line out. And Rachel Horn up now. She's 0 for 2 today. That's going to be the Weather Hog. She'll go back, make the grab right in front of the Munger Vision camera. And that's it. An easy inning for Lee and the Minutemen. They'll go to the bottom of the 6th, holding that 5-1 lead. Coach Levens and MSJ tolerated me. She was very tolerant of me, and I appreciate that from her. Casey, come on, up top of the order. Next with Maneri and then Dan Brackus. I've had one of the Herald reporters still works there. Actually, one of the other Herald reporters brought it up earlier this season when he learned that this was my final season of covering sports. He laughed and said, "Remember when so-and-so said you were the worst thing that happened to high school sports?" And of course I remember that. That was very hurtful. It was very untrue. That's going to be a base hit. That's going to drop in, and Jones will pick it up. Make the good throw into second base, but that'll be a leadoff single for Camo. And so Maneri, well, Lamberton in a tough spot in the order here as that will bounce in the dirt, and the runner, come on, we'll say at first. So besides that remark from that Herald reporter, I had another Herald reporter. I was doing a CSJ game and voiced an opinion on a call. That's going to be a base hit up the middle, picked up by Grenier, and she'll get the ball in quickly. First and second now for Mill River as they try to get some insurance runs here in the 6th. Dan Brackus up. Oh, looks like a pinch hitter. Oh, Kachupi. Haley Kachupi coming off the bench to pinch hit. Yeah, I had a different view on the call during a Green Mountain College CSJ girls basketball game, and which I have a right to have my own opinion. Doesn't make it right. And all Christ, when you know what? 2 days later, there's a big article about abusing referees and how boo-hoo-hoo poor referees have to put up with it. And Camo's going to go to third. She's going to beat it. There's that speed. And then on a trail in, Maneri will be in there safe. Of course, they don't tell you how much those college officials are making. You know, out of the love of the game, they're taking those checks and cashing them, which is their job. I understand that. Plus, they're getting mileage. And plus, it was the most interpreted call, is what the article said in the Herald by this guy that wrote it. Charging foul, offensive or block. That's the Paquette, the first, and the runner will score. Camo will come in. Maneri will go to third, and that's an RBI for Kachupi. Now, the way I look at the way the article was written, they said that I don't know sports. I'm only used to sitting on the couch watching NBA, and it's different rules, and I don't know the different levels. And of course, that's all crap. And that's going to be caught. Oh, what a job of making the grab over there at first base. That's Lyle over there making the grab. Oh, awesome defensive play. But getting back to my point, in his own words, if it's the most interpretive call, you know, some people saw it as a charge, some people saw it as a block. It was at a critical time to a critical player. It was their third foul in a championship game to Lamberton, the first, and Poultney coming up in the 7th, looking for a rally, down by 4. So if it's the most interpretive call, that means that 600 people in the gym, 300 saw it as a charge and 300 saw it as a blocking foul. Well, why would my opinion be wrong? Because I'm interpreting different than what he saw it, or I voiced an opinion on it? I guess as long as it was his opinion, then it was okay not to be interpretive. And then it was a scathing article. And there's a lot more things that need to be addressed than some volunteer guy not getting paid, holding an old camcorder and doing a CSJ basketball game. None of the positives or the good things I did ever came out. And then, of course, I took issue one time with the then athletic director, Kevin Knauer at CSJ. Him and I, at the beginning of the season, had a talk about the Mayflower Conference tournament and the seating arrangements and where media should sit. And I've been there all the time for every game. And, of course, he had convenient amnesia when it came time to do the tournament. They taken my spot, and I'll be foul. Of course, being a doofus who shoots his mouth off first before he thinks, I went on air and took exception to it. And of course, Chris Gilmore, who ran the Mayflower Conference tournament back then for Green Mountain College, listened to it and knew nothing of my side of the story, just what he was told by everybody who'd been hammered on my rant. So the reporter for the Herald calls me at work, where I'm not even supposed to get personal calls unless it's an emergency. So I can't really give him my side of the story in any type of unstressful way. Gets done telling me that he just sat with the guys at Green Mountain College over there for 2.5, 3 hours in a nice relaxed setting. They could plead their case as we had base hit up the middle. Of course, when the article came out, I sounded like a total buffoon in it. Thank you very much. So Boguski will get a single. So Poultney, don't forget, Poultney had the lead the first time these two teams met late in the ball game in Poultney, and then it was a rally by Mill River that got them the win. Mill River trying to avoid that same twist of fate here and hold on for the win. All the stories I could sit down and tell you that people will shake their head over, but Lee got it. Lee going to double it up. Lee with that double play. And she, you know what she did so well there besides the double play? Was the nice, controlled, calm way she did it. Now Lamberton up, and she represents the final chance here for Poultney in the 7th. Off the fist and foul down the third base line. And they'll get Lee a ball, and there she goes. So Amanda Lee, like I said, has just gotten better and better and better as this season's gone along, and that's going to drop in, and Weatherhog will chase it down. Nice backup by Cornell and throw to second. Nope, and the runner will stay. Lamberton will stay at first base, which was the smart choice with 2 down trailing in the last inning of play here. So a single by Lamberton will bring up Allie Jones. 0 for 2 today, Jones is. Again, this is the last regular season game, home game for Mill River. Congratulations to all the seniors on Mill River, and actually all the seniors on Poultney. Take advantage of any opportunities in life you're given. Take nothing for granted. There's a strike called. So Lee and Mill River, you know, having watched them from the first game of the season till now, I don't know how much better they could be heading into the playoffs. I mean, they got to be thrilled. There's a strike on a nasty-looking pitch. There are 2 outs on that double play. On the line drive hit back to Lee. She flipped the first, got Boguski. And that's the ball game, and that'll be a strikeout, and that's going to be it. So Mill River will get the 5-1 win in 7 innings over Poultney. And again, you go back to Poultney as that first inning where they just didn't seem ready The walks got them, but Mill River, they came out of the gate. They pitched well, hit well, fielded well, ran the bases aggressively. I thought it was a very well umpired ball game, both in the field and behind the plate. And if this is, for some reason, I can't do the playoff games for Mill River, thank you very much, Mill River community, for allowing me to videotape your sports and put it on.